One of the things that I pride myself on in my teaching is that I have a whole bunch of simple exercises that I give to my students, many of them even beginner students, but they're also exercises that I use myself. And this particular one, the switcheroos with the left hand, I do this almost every time I pick up the guitar, and it might even be the first thing that I do in the day when I pick up the guitar, because it's really good for both reminding it helps to develop coordination in the fingers, but it also helps to remind the left hand that you don't have to use as much pressure as it might seem, because the left hand really gets used to gripping, especially in flamenco when we're doing accompaniment and we're holding chords for a long time. Then there can be a fair amount of tension that can accumulate in the left hand over time. So this is one of the things that I do both to alleviate tension but to help beginners develop the coordination. So I'm going to start by giving the end point exercise, but if you find that it's too difficult for you, then stick with the video, because I'm going to show you an easier alternative partway through, and then eventually you'll be able to do the more challenging one. But yeah, anyway, here we go. So what I'm doing is I'm assigning a finger per fret. So, and I'm placing my fingers on the third string, and then I'm just taking the third and fourth fingers and gently switching them back and forth. You can do this at whatever speed works for you. I find that if I'm doing it at a more relaxed speed, then it makes me more relaxed as a player. So, and I just do some, I don't count them or anything like that, and then bring them back to the third string, and then I do the first and second. So you've got a total of 6 combinations that we're going to do here. And again, you can go slower on this if you need to. And then bring them back to the third string, and then the third and second fingers. I do tend to do them in this order because I like to make sure that the third and fourth fingers get a little rest in between. The first and second are pretty strong, and they can do 2 in a row even when they're warming up. And then sometimes what I do, and especially with my students, because they might spend a little more time on this if they're developing coordination, is just stop and shake your hand out, and then put them back on. And so we just did third and fourth, or second and third, sorry, and then do the first and fourth. And I like to make sure that I'm also really relaxed. So one of the ways that I do that is by just taking some deep breaths while I'm doing this. And then bring them back to the third string, first and third. One of the things to keep in mind is that the second and third fingers share a tendon further back on one side of the hand, and the third and fourth share a tendon further back on the other side of the hand. So they're never going to be as coordinated as the first and second, but will become more coordinated the more we relax. So coordination comes from relaxation. And then last combination is the second and fourth. One of the things to note here too that you probably can't see in the video, but I'm really conscious of and recommend that you be conscious of, is that I'm not pressing all the way down. I'm just practicing the movement going from one string to the next. I'm not pressing all the way. So again, just really reminding the fingers that they can move easily. The body really, really likes gentle repetition. So, and I find that when I warm up on this, the rest of my practice session feels much, much better in my left hand than if I don't do it. So, and then you can just stop and shake that out when you're done. So now if you're struggling with those ones, and initially I've seen lots of people who do, one of the things that you can do is just do one finger at a time. So the fourth finger, and then the first finger. First finger is probably pretty easy. Third finger. Some people find the third finger super hard because it's the one that's sort of trapped in the middle between that tendon sharing thing that I spoke about a minute ago. And then the second finger. And again, I'm just using minimal pressure. I'm not trying to force anything. Yeah. So so that's a good door in if you're struggling with that endpoint exercise. Make sure that you go as slowly as you need to for your body. This is not a competitive thing. The idea is to be gentle with the hands and give the muscles the opportunity to learn it and get it. And the slower you go, the faster you'll get it. So I hope that helps you with the left hand. I know that it's made a really big difference for me, and it's made a big difference for my students with their chord changes. So I'm curious to know how it works out for you. Let me know in the comments below.